Now, Scott Razor Robertson could be onto something very good with the All Blacks in 2024, and I'm going to explain why I think his team might be a bit special. Number one is he's an amazing coach, and everyone knows it, everyone says it, everyone who's experienced his coaching says he connects with players so well, gets them playing for the team amazingly. And the Crusaders, his team has been dominant in New Zealand and Super Rugby for a long time now, maybe the best team in the world. Maybe we'll know in the future who the best team in the world is club-wise when we have a club championship. That would be pretty cool. But anyway, he's amazing, plus his coaching team looks pretty good as well, based around the Crusaders as well. Liam McDonald, attack coach, former teammate of Robertson. He was the Blues head coach, so plenty of experience there. Jason Hollands can help him in attack. Scott Hansen, former Crusaders right-hand man, is the defence coach, so he knows Razor inside and out, as does Jason Ryan, former Crusaders forwards coach, who was the forwards coach for the All Blacks in the World Cup as well, so some continuity. The coaching team looks spot on. Now let's just briefly talk about New Zealand's way of managing their top players. It is a bit different to other nations. They know financially they can't quite keep hold of all their best players all the time, so they have a bit of an understanding. Some of it's actually written in their contracts that they can take sabbaticals, go away for a year or two, earn their money, line their pockets with gold in Japan or France, say, with the understanding they will come back to the All Blacks and play when it comes to the big tournaments like the World Cup. And that draw of loyalty seems to be working at the moment, and indeed after this World Cup there's been an exodus again, and we'll talk about that and why actually maybe it's not such a terrible idea to do it. But so far it seemed to work for New Zealand. Is it going to get out of hand at some point with too many players going and not coming back? We will see, but at the moment it's okay. So let's go through the players that Razor may be losing temporarily or maybe permanently. First of all, veteran hooker Dane Coles. It's full retirement for him. Fair enough, 36 years old, given his all for New Zealand over the years. In his pomp, maybe the best hooker in the world. So exciting to watch. So he will be losing him. And then the big losses in the second row. We've got Whitelock going to top 14 to POW. He's not going to play for the All Blacks again. Brodie Retallick, I don't think we'll see him again for the All Blacks, but I guess you never know. He's going to Japan. And also we've got Beauden Barrett and Aaron Smith. They're going to Japan too. 36-year-old Smith looks like he's done with the All Blacks, so he's losing his best scrum half. Beauden Barrett maybe will only spend a season in Japan. We will see if a good deal can be done with New Zealand to return, so he could be back for the World Cup maybe before that. We will see. He could be even back in 2024 if he only spends the domestic season in Japan. So let's assume he's back in 2024, but we will see on that one. Richie Mo'unga looks like a bit of a loss actually, only 29 years old, so could have another World Cup in him for sure, and he's been Razor's key playmaker for the Crusaders, and also he's been key for the All Blacks as well. He's going to Toshiba Brave Lupus in Japan on a 3-year deal, and from what he's been saying, the quotes he's been saying, he may be gone for good, so I guess we write him off for now, so that's a bit of a loss. Shannon Frizzell, his loss is a big blow, but it may be temporary again. He's just established himself as maybe one of the best blindsides in the world. It's been amazing for the All Blacks, and he's coming into his pomp, so to lose him now at 28 would be a shame. At the moment it's only a 1-year deal, I believe, so if New Zealand can offer him something good, hopefully he comes back as well, and maybe he'll be available in the future. But for now, let's say he is gone for 2024. Let me know if you've got any updates on any of these players. This is how I understand it as the moment. Good news though for Robertson, for the experienced back rowers Sam Cane and Ardie Savea. They're going to Japan for a quick money grab. Fair enough, but they should be back for the All Blacks the next international season in 2024. So he could continue with Kane as captain, but we'll see on that one. He hasn't picked a captain yet. That'll be interesting. I'm going to mention the captain I think that he should go for, but let me know who you would go for. So let's go through a team that I would like to see Razor field in 2024, and the front row is looking really strong, particularly in the propping stakes. The ages are great. De Groot and Lomax, they're just coming into their absolute prime. And then the slightly younger props, I think 23 years old each, Tamatai Williams, Fletcher Newell, they're the backups. It looks absolutely perfect for a 1-2 hit from the start and off the bench. I think Takeahu, his time is now to start as hooker. So explosive, so exciting. I think he's going to be absolutely great as a starter. And Cody Taylor, I think he's having a bit of time off at the moment, and he may well come back in 2024. I think he will, fully refresh, so he's going to be an experienced player on the bench, or he could start him, of course. But I think Takeahu, De Groot, Lomax, I think that's the way to go in the front row to go forward towards the World Cup. And like I said, Williams and Newell, the giants coming off the bench, the youngsters, they're only going to get better and better. Second row, like I said, that is the question. Scott Barrett, now I think, is established as a second row. They need him there with the loss of Whitelock and Retallick, and I would give him the captaincy as well. 30 years old, 34 come the World Cup, so he'll be an absolute veteran, but he is very much respected by the team, and he is like the first name on the team sheet, someone you have to have in there. Sam Cane, yeah, would be a good captain as well. Is he going to be guaranteed a place as much as Barrett? Maybe not, but he'd still be a leader anyway, even if he's not named as captain. So I would go Scott Barrett as captain. Now I know Vai and Josh Lord, they've kind of been the next in line, the talent being lined up in the All Blacks camp, but I think maybe they're still a little bit young. They need a bit more experience. So I would bring back Patrick Tuipulotu, and Scott Robertson works wonders with these sorts of players who are a bit underrated, particularly in the forwards, turn them into absolute beasts. I think he's got plenty of years in him, 30 now. I think he can play the best rugby in 24 and 25. So Scott Barrett, Tuipulotu, supersized, really nasty second row. Then at 6, of course, Frizzell, he may be back, he may not be, but let's assume he's not. So I think it's the Nearly man, Ethan Blackadder. Of course, he's been coached by Robertson in the Crusaders. He could slot straight in as a hard as nails. 6, could play 8 as well, of course, but I think he goes there as 6. And he's very experienced now, rugby-wise, 28 years old, in his prime. So I don't think they're going to lose a lot there, although it would be lovely to have Frizzell as well. Sam Cane should be back from Japan, so I think he continues at 7. I still think he's their best player. Papali'i on the bench still, so he's going to be fighting for that 7 shirt, which should be good for them. Ardie Surveyor again, hopefully back from Japan, 30 years old, got plenty of rugby left in him, World Rugby Player of the Year. So I think that's a really solid pack. And what Robertson does so well with the Crusaders is build that dominant pack. They don't just wing the ball around all over the place. Their set piece is fantastic. Their basics are great. So I think they're going to be tough to beat up front there. 9's interesting. He's losing Aaron Smith. Does he go for another passer, systems player to start? Maybe, but I don't think he can ignore the sheer talent of Cam Roigard. I think he's absolutely amazing. Razor will know talent when he sees it. 4 years of experience. He'll be 27 come the World Cup. I think you back that horse of Roigard and go for it. And alongside him, I think now is the time for Damien McKenzie. Mwanga's walked away. D-Mac's been thereabouts for so long, and in last year's Super Rugby with the Chiefs, it's his best year at 10 for sure. The best we've seen him at 10. Only 28, could easily go through to the World Cup. So him and Roigard I would be as the first choice halfback pairing. Centres are staying, Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane, both only 26. It seems they've been around for so long, but they've easily got another World Cup in them, so they absolutely stay. Mark Talaya on one wing was brilliant, 26 again. He was fantastic working off his wing, a revelation in the World Cup. And then on the other wing, I think an absolute powerhouse like Fainga'anuku. He's absolutely key to the All Blacks line, I think, busting those tackles. Only 24 years old. Narawa has got a nasty injury, I think a back injury, so he may be coming back at some point. We'll see. Caleb Clark, I don't think is as good a power option as Fainga'anuku, so that's the way I'd go there. At 15, maybe Beauden Barrett's back, maybe he's not, but I still think it's time to give Will Jordan the keys to fullback for New Zealand and maybe become an absolute great for them, a legend of the game. I think he's that good. I'm not overdoing it, I don't think. Let me know if you don't think he's that good, but I think he's got the game. Best position is fullback. He's been amazing on the wing, so he's in there, starting shirt. Then on the bench, I've mentioned the front row. That's very good. Vai, I think, is still the backup at second row, 23, so he's going to be in his pomp in a few years anyway, so I think it's fine for him to bide his time a little bit more. Papali'i, a really good understudy. At 7, maybe you get Cullen Grace in that back row as well. He could be an option on the bench, but Papali'i for now, I think. The backup 9 is tricky. I think Finlay Christie is kind of a good system player, very experienced, but maybe he goes for a younger option, maybe Ratimer from the Chiefs. That would be really interesting. Beauden Barrett, if he's back, absolutely covers 10 and 15, loads of experience. If he's not, maybe Fergus Burke for the Crusaders could offer a very similar thing of Beauden Barrett, that 10-15 option, big guy. And on the bench, who do you go as your impact back sub? Well, I think Levi Amua is the man coming over to the Crusaders from Moana Pacifica. He's an absolute beast in defence, in attack. That sheer power in the midfield would be amazing coming on. Love to see him get some starts at points as well. If you've got a 10-15 already at 22, maybe you don't need a Sean Stevenson or Zahn Sullivan maybe on the bench, but they are other options as well. Anyway, that is the way I would go for Razor's 2024 team. I think it's going to be very tough to beat. Loads of players coming into that absolute prime at the right time, I think, for the World Cup. I think they could do something special. Let me know if you agree. All those comments below. Do like and subscribe if you like these sorts of videos. That would be amazing. And I'll catch you next time.